efficient job making 6 figures and say she just wants to come help families and make sure they have financial literacy. So she's done a great job with that with her husband. They're building a great business. They have now starting to market out into the Texas area. They have offices up and down the 15 corridor now, as well as they're out in the Los Angeles area. So you guys are in for a treat. She's going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge about our company and kind of some of the opportunities that we do have. And I'd like to go ahead and introduce you guys to Mona Boutte.
Give Maurice a hand. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm loud. I could probably put the mic down. Did he do a good job? Yeah. I was watching your mom and Dr. Morrison sitting there. I'm a proud mom. My son is so smart, right? You guys, I was just telling you what she was thinking, right? Oh, that's my baby. I was going to embarrass you. She was thinking all those things while you were talking. Go get him. Every time you asked the question, she was excited to answer. Yeah. She was doing crowd participation for you. You plant one in the crowd for you all the time. So my husband is in the crowd, so he's going to be my cheerleader. Right, babe? So one is you guys are, it's actually a privilege to be here. Actually, Carol and Steve, you guys stand up for a second too. She's like, what? They're feisty. This is a feisty couple. And Maurice has always had a dream to be in Lake Elsinore to open up an office. And I was like, aren't you guys way in the desert? And they was like, yeah, we're 3 to 5 minutes away from here now. So between the 3 of them, they're expecting to try to take over Lake Elsinore, and that's kind of why we're here today. So I want to acknowledge you guys and thank you guys for coming out today as well. So I'm watching this sign here, and I could take a lot of glory, but it's an honor to have such knowledge to be brought to Lake Elsinore. I don't know if you guys know that. And that's what their goal is, to provide that. And just from the short information that he gave you, I don't know if you guys caught it, but those are big nuggets between the tax advantage type of vehicles, between just simple doubling and compounding of your money, and simple things like that kind of help you out. But our goal is not just to share with you that. I don't know if you guys even know, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And, that's a big deal because there's a lot of people who are not insured, underinsured, and whatever the reason is. Maybe they think they can't afford it or not educated. So our goal is to get in front of as many people as we can. One is to share that information with them. So if that's all you do is find out that someone in this room can help secure your family's future for that type of stuff, you want to get involved with that. The same thing with the financial information is you want to sit down. And it doesn't have to be Maurice. You guys are close. I mean, I've just got to hear he's the best man in 30 weddings, right? So that usually would tell you something about a person. If 30 weddings, they were the best man. Probably means a lot of people trust him. But at the end of the day, you have access to someone to do some great things. But I will tell you, I know he kept saying the word older and 5 kids around the same age. Can mom play with all 5 kids at the same time? Right? It's just impossible. So then that's when you had like Mattel and Toys R Us and companies like that came about that sold only toys and became very successful. Right? There was supply and there was a demand. And then you had the fast food industry. Mom used to make breakfast. She packed her husband to lunch. By the time her husband got home, there was dinner. Right? But then that was for her and him and maybe 1 or 2 kids. But again, now you have a family of 8. There was not enough income in the house. So mom had to go back to work. So there was no longer lunch being made. Mom had to get the kids from there. And so there was companies like Wendy's and McDonald's that popped up. And again, those industries and those fast foods today, guess what, are very profitable. I think every person in here, I know I did, all at one point loved McDonald's. Right? And you was happy when you went from a Happy Meal to a Big Mac. I was excited when I can order a Big Mac instead of a Happy Meal anymore. I'm old now, right? And I can remember, and a shake. It wasn't even a drink. I had a Big Mac and a shake, right? That was those eras, right? They took you straight there, and that's where we got. And so to this day, they're very profitable. There was in the car industry, there was a company that was going to go bankrupt. It was called Chrysler, still called Chrysler. And they came up with this concept of an ugly car called a minivan, right? So you imagine back then, everything was like all nice and, 5-seaters, and then here comes this company with, cars that hold 8 and 10 people. It may have looked weird, but that family didn't have to make 2 trips back and forth home to school. They just put all the kids in the family in there and go on a trip, right? So to this day, they're still profitable, because of that. And so again, supply and demand. Maurice mentioned the real estate field, right? That was supply and demand. All the baby boomers started retiring, and people started moving like to Lake Elsinore and places like that, right? Because there was, not enough space. That's how I see Lake Elsinore. I'm like, I just passed it on the way to San Diego. Didn't know people really lived here, you know. I thought it was just coyotes in the things, you know. So here we are. But real estate was booming, right? The kids started, you know, moving out and buying their home, and all those things was happening. And so anyone that got involved in that industry became wealthy, right? They made a lot of money, whether it was a real estate, whether it was a mortgage, whether it was an escrow, even the notary people were making money, right? They was notarizing forms and stuff, so it was the industry. And then guess what's happening now with those baby boomers? Those baby boomers are starting to retire. Every day we see there's like 12,000 of them turning 65, and actually over 70% of them have no financial advisor in their life. So they're retiring and have no idea what to do with their money. They have no idea, well, who's going to take care of me, about long-term care and, you know, outpacing inflation. All these are questions they have, and they have no financial advisor in their life to help them out, right? So that's where we come in to do it. And there's so many people that need it, right? Over 70 million people, and not enough financial advisors. The average advisor right now is over 55 years old. They built up passive and residual income. They're trying to get out of the industry, and we're going to have a shortfall over 200,000, you know, financial advisors and life coaches by the year 2022. So if you're looking for an industry to get into, this is the timing of the industry to be in. And so we're expanding rapidly all over, not just locally. Lake Elsinore happened to be a big space between San Diego and the other spots. And so if you know of anyone that's looking for something, the industry is the #1 industry to be in. And then why not be with a company that has access to all the top companies? So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for that person who's looking. So again, timing couldn't have been better. If we look at the unique business platform, which is pretty awesome, to not have territories, right? So imagine it took me 3.5 hours to get here, and I'll be back in Eastville tomorrow. Like it's like, Melinda, you just need to move out here. No, I like the beach, not the lake, right? So a little bit different, but you do get to relax on the lake. Every time I come out here, somebody got the nice relaxation, you know, all the great stuff, the barbecues, right? All those good things that happen. We can visit, we can't stay. I got 2 little dogs, and the coyotes would get them, right? But our business platform is something that's very unique. I know as a nurse practitioner, great thing about it is I never had to deal with territories, but there was always rules and restrictions that we had to abide by. In our industry, we don't have any of those type of things. One is we talk about no financial experience needed. So even though I have an MBA, it's totally different, right? I was always making other people money. That degree was never used to try to make us more money. My husband swears he's better in the business than me. I don't have none of those letters or numbers or any of that stuff behind his name, but he swears he's better. And I'm telling you, he talks way more than me, so of course you can. You know, the person who talks the most in our business usually wins. And so you don't have to have a background in it. You got to have a passion for helping people. If you really have a passion for helping people, we can show people everything else. Because people do business with people they trust. Right? That's why when Maurice is in 30 different weddings, people trust him. Right? He's probably a whole bunch of godfathers and all that type of stuff, right? They're making you a father one way or the other. And so that's why that happens, right? It's a test drive opportunity. You can do it part-time. I was not thinking to give up my career. I went to school a million years to get my dream job. So when the opportunity was offered to me, I was like, thank you, but no thank you. But I actually came to a meeting and thought we were talking about real estate. You know, that timing of everything. I thought it was, when they said broker, I was thinking real estate. Oh, man, they're going to teach you how to become a broker? What? I thought brokers compete. I didn't know they'd help you. And then I come to a meeting and it's financial services, right? So, oh, shucks, okay. But guess what? I joined on the spot. And then I had to go home and tell my husband, babe, I thought I was done with school. Sorry, but I just got involved in something and I got to get another license, right? But this time the license was easy. It wasn't like years of school. And I mean, even today, I mean, it's crazy, and I'll share that with you. But it's the test drive, so I was part-time. I can remember changing my clothes from the hospital, driving all the way to the office for training and meetings, and going on appointments where I went from a uniform hospital to a suit and stuff. I can remember that like it was yesterday. And it was such an exciting reward because I was helping people with information that nobody else was knocking on their door to do. Merrill Lynch wasn't knocking on their doors. Charles Schwab wasn't knocking on their doors. And here was this little old nurse practitioner who was bringing some of the biggest and the best people in the industry to sit down with them and change their lives. So I was excited about that, and I did it as a part-time. So I did that my whole first year part-time and was not looking to change my career. Wasn't even thinking about it. And then that whole first year, we became brokers, right? We were 6-figure earners. All that happened on the side. And I looked at my husband and I said, babe, imagine if we was full-time, what we could do. He was like, well, which one of us is going to do it? And I was like, well, I guess you own a business. I'm an employee, so I guess that can happen. And we came full-time. Our first month full-time, we made like $80-something thousand, and we've never looked back. So here it is 10 years later. All I've done for the last 10 years was World Financial Group, right? So excited about it, and it's on a part-time basis. No time clock, right? We work around your schedule. 95% of the people usually are part-time. And that's because we want to go into the community. Leadership development, strength, power of choices. You guys got to hear it. Prudential, Voya, Allianz, Nationwide, all those different companies on there. Equal opportunity. I mean, we're diverse. I mean, if you haven't seen a diverse company, we just left a convention. There was over 30,000 people there on the second convention. Oh man, you would say, if anybody, you were born outside the U.S., please stand. We had some of everything. Yes, like she was like, everybody out there we was like, whoa, right? Different languages, and it kind of started. I had the privilege to be able to open up the convention and talk, and I was like, hey, I got recognized as the first African American female in Index Universal Life. And let's just say it was written with Transamerica, that's their parent company, but there's tons of other companies that have them, Nationwide, Pacific Life, all those companies. But if I just personally went out and let's just say help someone save money into that tax advantage type of vehicle, just $200 a month, and I helped 4 families. So you came in, you're just an associate, you're not a broker, we're not making this big deal. You came in just to make some extra income. And you helped 1 family a week save $200 a month, just made about $4,300, 1099 with our company, right? Big deal. Now, what does it take to do that? You got to go to school. You got to get your master's degree in finance and economics. No. Carol's like, don't say that. So, way less deals than you had to do in real estate, right? Way less follow-up. But you actually helping people build legacies and change your life forever, right? Then there's what we call override potential, where you're managing 5 people. Some of us have leadership skills. That'd be like Carol and Steve. They're like, hey, we've been married 51 years. We got a whole bunch of grandkids. That's why we moved to Lake Elsinore. We're not trying to, actually in 2017, we're on pace to pay out $1 billion in commission. So it's real happening. That's in the U.S. and Canada, where we're helping a lot of families to change life because of the timing and the moment we're in. The problem is we don't have enough people to help us go service all the people we need out there. It's a big shortage, and that's why the opportunity is on a part-time basis without any extra stress in your life on that point. Next one. I don't want to talk about those trips. I don't need those trips, right? Nobody likes trips here, right? You don't like paid trips. I mean, they just send you on so many trips. We said, can we just work for a minute, please, you guys, on that. So next steps, here we go. What was some of you guys invited for? Did they tell you why you were coming? Right? Did you walk in and says, man, are they going to baptize me? What did they tell you, Lord? You never know, right? Okay, so friend supporting a friend, Gail. You know, okay. How about the 2 buddies from way back in the day? He could have told you anything. General idea. Okay, perfect. And that's what we tell people. The beginning part is if you think you got something great, you tell your friends and family, people around you. And they really do have something great. If I see a good movie, I'm telling everybody, oh my God, it was good. Or guess what? No. You don't want to go see that movie. Don't waste your money, right? So the same thing is happening. Each and every person that invited you guys today is actually licensed in the business and open for business. The difference is they have people that know them that don't know what they do. So they got to get the word out there, especially the people that's expanding in Eastville. So this is what actually happens. You have to ask yourself, do you know who could benefit from some of the messages, right? Whether it's sitting down getting a complimentary financial plan. Most people say they never had one before. If they did, they don't have anyone following up with them. So that could be the business. Or the opportunity. We're really looking for people, right? It doesn't have to be just Lake Elsinore. That's where we are today, but there's offices all over the place that can use the opportunity. Could this information help you or your family financially? I know me and my husband were totally different people. He squeaks when he walks. You guys probably know exactly who he is because you'll hear when he walks, right? That's how cheap he is. He drops a penny, he breaks his neck to get it. So obviously, when we sit down and do a financial, and I'm not telling a story, lightning did not strike me, right? We sat down and did a financial plan, we saw things totally different, right? So again, it doesn't matter if you have money or no money, you still need to have money, right? He do not go to those games like he used to. I think you're going next week to one or something. But you got free tickets, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't go. He'd get to go on this stuff and everything. But again, everybody needs it. He would have never stopped going if it wasn't for them showing him that compounding stuff. And the cheap guy saw the money growing versus going out the door. It was real easy once he saw it on paper. So one is sit down with every single person and help them financially, or intrigue in the business, right? Just sit down with someone and just get your questions asked and get more information. People are referral sources, right? This is not for everyone, and we're not for everyone as well, right? And they're not for us. But some people know people who could benefit, and if you can get a deal on a test, you could become a referral source, and it's okay. That easy. So one is get the complimentary plan, the business opportunity. Most people, we recommend them to be part-time, right, to make sure there's a fit. And then some people transition full-time. Some people are quicker than others, right? Some people have more income to replace than others, so it takes us a little longer. Some people come in and like, I can replace that income in no time, right? So it depends on the person. But I will tell you there's a shortage in our industry. We need more people who want to go help people. And especially if you know anybody in Lake Elsinore, if you don't do anything but refer the people, that would be appreciated by the person that actually invited you. At this time, is there any specific questions on anything at all? I know Maurice gave a whole bunch of, he was the star, had to give all that information. That's not easy to give it all. But Laura.
Okay, so the initial thing is complimentary. How much is it after that?
So it depends on how good of a job they did. No, it's not, right? She's like, dang, I knew it was a catch, right? You guys are waiting for the catch, right? So most of the time when you sit down and do a financial plan, there's usually fees that are involved in it. Most of the time, they're going to charge you $500 to $1,500 to tell you you broke or you need to save money, right? Most people know where they stand. When you walk in the door, you already know they're going to say, I don't got no money, I'm embarrassed. Or they're going to say, okay, well, where am I going to put my money? In that case, that whole plan is complimentary. Because we don't have any brokerage fees or anything in the middle, if I put the person with Nationwide or Pacific Life or whatever company we put them with, we put them directly there, so there's no fees. We do ask for referrals in return, right? That's how we keep our business growing. If you charge a fee, normally they're going to charge a fee because they say if you do something or not, they got to pay. In our case, we know we do a great job. There's so many people who could benefit from it. We just ask for referrals, right? That's why we're big on referrals, because that helps us expand and helps our business grow. Right, so that would be the referral source at that point. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Laura. We can have you sit in all of the stuff, right? So Laura wants to know, right? She was like, I didn't have to tell them. Laura asked. It's great. Because we're expanding, there's a couple things. We have market alliances with a lot of the companies that actually offer the test. So one is we do have to do a background check initially, and it also gets you like a quote number and actually a website, right? It comes with all of us that are agents. That video he showed you in the beginning, and a ton of literature and links, we all actually get that. And that's $100 just to get you started, get you your 1099 and all that type of stuff. Then to get in your course, right, there's companies all the time, they're giving us, it's Life Insurance Awareness Month, and just about like, don't want to say the wrong price, but there's some from $9.99 to $39.99, just so you know. Because some of them is life insurance, they're like, we end in this day, then they extended and extended. So you do have some this month from $9.99, it's usually never more than $39.99 in general. So you get in that course, you do it on your own time, you run it out, and then you're actually ready to take the test. So somebody today could be getting started, 140, worst case scenario, and within a week or so you could be taking a test. People take that test literally 3 to 5 days because it's a D. It's multiple choice. I mean, you come in the door like, ooh, roll the dice. Just 60% of the time, I just got to guess some of them right. And it really is that easy. And they have local testing centers as well. Right? They used to have to go all the way downtown LA. Now, because it's such a demand, they put them all around in the local areas for us to test it. Right? So it's a big deal. So that's it. That would change. That could be the difference of change your life, and also that becomes a write-off because now you become an independent agent. So you like tax write-offs, I heard, right? There you go, right? I never thought I would like tax write-offs, but you do. I can remember as a nurse practitioner seeing those taxes. That net was pretty gross after the taxes. I used to hate it. Do I really? And guess what the bad part is? I'm not even going to get Social Security. All those years of all those taxes that I paid for the baby boomers' retirement, I'm not even going to get any of it, right? But I've learned to be independent, tax write-offs, and I love it, right? Just like those wonderful trips we get to write off. Everything I do for my business is write-off, right? So I'm excited about it, and you learn all those type of things as well, where you don't have to be an employee. There's a lot of perks about being independent. That answer your question? Any other questions, Laura? Yeah. So we do have a couple of, just a little questionnaire, and what it does is just have information, and if you can fill that out and just give it back to the person inviting you. There's a couple of questions on there asking you if you know, interested in the financial complimentary plan, whether it's the opportunity, whether it's both, or if you actually know some people could benefit from it. The person inviting you would totally appreciate that, and so would we. And I'm going to bring Maurice back up because I know he has an announcement. He's like, oh my God, the butterflies. Did you eat all the butterflies, the caterpillars that turned into butterflies yet? But I know you had another date or so. That's what I didn't know the exact date on that. But here's Mr. Raised in Lake Elsinore and stayed in Lake Elsinore. Wrong with you guys? I never thought that could happen. No, I'm like, how do you're raised and you stayed? Like you chose not to leave.
That's why we have dogs, except for Matt. He got a big one, named it Bear. No, so we're actually going to have our next event is going to be on the 28th. So if you guys do know somebody who can definitely benefit from the information, please let them know that we will be having another event on the 28th. We'll have a flyer for that here, be out by next week, so we can definitely get that to you guys so you guys can get that information to them. There is cupcakes in the back, but we were definitely asked to not eat them inside of the sanctuary. So if you guys do want to have them, you guys can get them on the way to go. I know some people have some kids, and their kids going to be mad if they come home and say, I just got some cupcakes and you ain't getting none. You can smell it on my breath, but you can't have none. Don't do that, because I know your kids, so they're going to come after me. But no, I appreciate you guys all coming down and taking the opportunity to actually see what we do and see what we're trying to do here for this community. I came to Lake Elsinore kicking and screaming, did not want to move here, and now I would kick and scream to not have to leave this place. So it's a great community, a great area, and I'm excited to be able to embark what our company actually does in this area and be able to educate as many families as we have out here. So thank you guys again. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Melinda and Comfort, for driving all the way here from LA. And we definitely want to thank the church for allowing us to have the opportunity to be able to use this facility, to be able to give back to our community.